just found out I'm doing this. I've known Jennifer for,
wow, a while.
my memory's not great.
15-something years?
Yeah, a long time.
Okay.
She was dating my son.
Long time ago.
Very long.
We don't know where he is. A long time.
He hasn't been in this country for 4
He's not in the country.
And we met there. The first time I ever saw her, she was playing with the Santa Monica Symphony. And I really enjoyed it so much, and I've heard her playing different places, different times. And she and I have become like mother and daughter. And so we were calling each other surrogate mother.
And daughter.
And surrogate daughter. And then someone, you tell them what that
I was saying that I was going to be doing something with Barbara and what you were doing for me, and I said, well, my surrogate mom, and he goes, oh, congratulations! And I go, and he goes, oh my God, he goes, when's it due? And he thought that I meant I had a surrogate mom who was carrying my baby. And I called her and I go, oh no. I called her and I go, we got to stop the surrogate mom, surrogate daughter thing, because it's not gonna work. So
sometimes I've called her my adopted daughters, different things. She's my daughter. If I were to have a daughter, I would want it to be her.
Aww.
Anyway, I'm so glad everybody's here and gets to experience her wonderful talent. I love her dearly.
Thank you, Barb.
Anyway, enjoy.
Thank you. So hi, everybody. We already had a beautiful intro from Camille and Barb, and thank you so much for coming, and thank you, Jerry, and thank you for Hattie's house, and thank you for your kind words. So we're going to get started. Let me grab my fiddle, violin, whatever you want to call it. Depends on what kind of music I'm playing. So what I've decided to do for today, I gear my things towards my audience. So I decided for today is I brought along some tracks that I've personally selected based on what are some of my favorite tunes and some tunes that I think would be some of your favorite tunes. So I've thrown a little bit of everything in there, from southern rock to country to standards to jazz, and I hope you enjoy it. And let's get started. And what I'll do is, I didn't do programs today, I like to save paper. So I will make sure to introduce, I will let you know every song before I play it so you're not guessing what it is. I will also have some descriptions and some little stories to tell you before some of the songs, what they mean to me. And I'm going to share that with you. So I believe everything's queued up. And if I need my glasses, they're right here. I'm dating myself. Okay, we're going to start out. I thought for the first song it would be perfect, since we're in Vegas, is something by Frank Sinatra. Or that Who Made Famous by Frank Sinatra. And this is Night and Day. It's a little jazz tune. We have turned it up. Is the volume good for everybody? that was a nice little intro. This next song that I'm going to do, I'm going to kind of go back a few years for you, and more years than I'd like to admit. But anyway, I'm going to take you back to when I was about 7 years old, so that you get an idea of where I came with my violin. And I learned piano at 6. Everybody in my family played piano and played 2 instruments, and I was playing piano for about a year, and my mom dragged me to my sister's orchestra concert. I'm the youngest of 4 girls, and one of them played violin. And I'm sitting there watching the concert, blah, 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 and then at intermission, these little kids come marching out on the stage, like from ages 3 to maybe 6. And they've got their little violins, and they just all start playing in unison. And as a child, like 7 years old, I was blown away. I go, oh my God, I'm checking on my mom, and I'm like, I want to do that, I want to do that. It turns out that they were the Suzuki kids. Is anybody familiar with the Suzuki method? So it's a teaching method that's by ear training instead of by notes, because you're so young, so they teach you to learn by ear. So immediately my mom was like, oh, this is great, I have another violinist. And so I started taking Suzuki, and I loved it, and then got into the school programs. And where's Camille? And I know, Camille, you'll appreciate this, and Jerry, because now we don't have the programs like we had back then. It wasn't an issue. You didn't have to decide if you could play an instrument. It was, what instrument are you going to play? And there was plenty of instruments and plenty of programs. So I was really blessed, and I was able to go right into orchestra, and I had the violin. And so I went through school playing the violin, and I liked it. But my first love was actually the piano. And we got some purples and reds. That's nice, some of the red hatters. Come on in. Thank you, find a seat. So my first love, believe it or not, was piano. And you're going to find that in many of my tracks, you'll hear a strong influence of piano in the tracks. So I went on to continue violin. But I was a latchkey kid. Do people know what latchkey kids are?
Yes.
Okay, and for people who don't, that's when you come home to an empty house after school and you wear the key. So I would come home every day to a really big, century-old house. It was very scary. And my mom would be teaching and gone, and at work. And then my sister would be there. None of my sisters were there. And so I would come home and I'd be scared in my house. So I would turn the TV on and lower the volume, and I would sit down at the piano. And I would just play for like 3 and 4 hours until anybody came home. It was really ridiculous. And I would take out my sister's big books, and they were Chopin, and I would just teach myself Chopin. And so, it was crazy. And so that was actually where my heart was, even though I enjoyed the violin. So it wasn't until I got into high school, I was continuing both instruments, and I get to high school, and I did not feel like I fit in. Not that the high school wasn't giving me what it could give me. I personally felt I wasn't in the niche that I wanted to find. And I told my mom I was going to quit school, and she said, okay, let's find your school. And we found I'm from Maryland, and we found out about the Baltimore School for the Arts, and it's a high school. And this was one of the only 2 in the nation at the time, I believe. There were magnet schools, but this was really ahead of its time. There was the New York School for the Arts, like Fame, like the movie Fame, and then there was the Baltimore School for the Arts. It had only been open like 4 years. There was only 50 people in my class, and so I went to audition. They said asked what I was going to audition, and I said piano, so I wanted to be a piano major. What other instruments? Well, violin. Well, bring your violin. This was all going through my mom. I'm like, I've got to bring the violin. So I go to audition, and the director of the school was there, and I auditioned on the piano, and I just knew I nailed it, Probably not, but I thought I did. And then he goes, well, take out your violin. And I take out my violin, okay. And I think I played like a little Bach piece or something, and he goes, okay. And he called my mom back in, and he says, this is what changed the course of my entire life, was this meeting at the Baltimore School for the Arts. And he said, I'm going to accept your daughter on one condition, that she majors in the violin. And she can minor in piano, she's going to major in the violin. And he proceeded to explain that the reason was because the opportunities out in the real world as a musician, there was more opportunities as a violinist than as a pianist. Of course, back then this was all classical based. They would only think of symphonies and chamber ensembles. They weren't thinking, oh wow, you could play in a piano bar lounge or dueling pianos, or you could play jazz, There wasn't. It was very strict, regimented. So it was classical, and okay. So anyway, so the reason I'm telling you all this, and I'm going to take you sort of through my journey as a violinist, that was a pivotal moment for me. As much as I was kind of dismayed, I was like, okay, it was my way into the school. I did continue piano, by the way, because they had excellent piano instructors. But during my stay at the School for the Arts, we would have recitals. And there was one of my girlfriends, Ella. She was a voice major. And I had heard this song before. I'll tell you what it is in a minute. I had heard this song before in recordings, had never heard it live. And I'll never forget, as a teenager, watching my teenage friend sing this song, it brought tears to my eyes. And I could not believe that the song, I'd never heard it that way and live. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play my interpretation of this song, and it's Gershwin's Summertime from Porgy and Bess.
Oh, I love it.
And I'd like to dedicate it to my mom too, because she's the reason I went to that school. So, yeah. So enjoy. Does anybody like that one? Yes. Lighten things up a little. Is everybody hearing the violin okay? Okay, so do you have any Bill Withers fans in here? Yes? Okay. So this next tune was made famous, well, yeah, he wrote it. Actually, the story that I read was that Bill Withers was actually made toilets for airplanes. Did anybody know that? No. And he wrote the song, and here we go. I don't know how you go from toilets to a hit, but that's amazing. grew up with three older sisters. I had I guess, the luck of having good music playing around me all the time. I mean, like rock, you know, I'm talking rock. And I mean, I heard the Sunday opera from my mom, but anyway, so I got to hear good bands at that time, like Boston and Supertramp and Kansas. And so this was one of my favorite songs by Kansas, if anybody remembers. It's Dust in the Wind. So I'd like to do it on the violin. Does anybody know that one? Y'all know that one, yeah? That's what's buzzing is my button. Button's buzzing. Every once in a while, you know, I kind of get like, oh. And then we'll lighten it up. Van Morrison. Who likes Van Morrison? Yeah. Oh, this is one of my favorites. I hope it's one of yours. It usually is a good crowd pleaser. And this is Moon Dance. So this next song, this is kind of silly. The group Hall & Oates, Daryl Hall, John Oates, and can somebody hold this for me for a second? Carefully. I don't usually let people hold my violin, but this is Jeff's. I secretly have a dream, and I've never told this in public. And that dream is to play with Daryl Hall. And he also has a show called, the Live from Daryl's House and all that. I love Daryl Hall, and I have a dream to play with him. So anybody here, if there's any 6 degrees or less of separation between you and Daryl Hall, and you want to call him up and say, this girl Jen really wants to play music with you, I would love that. And this is one of my favorite of theirs. This is Sarah Smile. You like this one? What? Changing on my violin, so give me one sec, thanks. Yeah. Just give a shout out to Daryl, everybody's on video, we're on video. If I get to play with him, you're all invited. There we go. Next tune, actually, was written, I always thought that it was by the Carpenters, and it was not. And I was excited when I looked it up. I have to see. Okay, so it was originally called Groupie. I'm going to see who knows. This is a little trivia. It was originally called Groupie. It was written in 1969, and it was written by Bonnie Bramlett and Leon Russell. And it also included Eric Clapton in the mix. They featured him, and the song was actually Superstar when the Carpenters brought it to light, like maybe 2 or 3 years later. It started out originally kind of gospel sounding, and I've actually listened to it, it is. And then the Carpenters heard it and they said, oh my gosh, and they ran back and they recorded it right away in their version, and that's what became so popular. But I'm going to play, also, there's other artists who have covered this actually a lot, but like Dwight Yoakam has an amazing cover of it, if you ever want to look that up. And then, of course, Eric Clapton. And Luther Vandross did a cover of this. And then most recently, from like one of those, Got Talent shows, Ruben Studdard, I think, did it. But anyway, so the version that I'm doing it on is a little R&B-ish, so just go with it. You'll like it. You get down. Why not? I said I was going to mix things up. It was written about a fan. The story goes is that it's about a fan who fell in love with the lead singer of a popular band, and that they had a bit of a quick moment together, and then he moves on to the next town, and that fan is then left, oh my gosh, you told me you loved me, you come back. So that's what that was about. I forgot to mention that. So, something fun. Short little ditty. Who likes a little Southern rock? Yeah. Yay! This is my string version of Leonard Skinner's "Sweet Home Alabama."
Oh.
Bring it on home, guys. Sorry, Neil Young, right? I don't know if anybody knows that rebuttal. So this next two tunes, I'm going to play back to back, and I ask that you save your applause until both tunes are done. And the reason I've chosen that is because the two songs together just seem right to me. So let me tell you a little bit about the two songs. One is the Rolling Stones' Wild Horses, and I'm going to have that then go into Jimi Hendrix' Little Wing. Yeah, and so I'm going to read you the lyrics to Little Wing, and then, but let me tell you the reason that this Wild Horses is kind of something in my life. It's a bit personal, but I'll share it with you. I was high school age, and I had some weird family stuff. Every family has some weird stuff, and so anyway, it was a little rough, and my dad had left, and all three of my sisters had left, and so my mom was gone for the weekend, and I was home alone, and I had this 8-track of the Rolling Stones that my sisters had left behind, and I put it in, and I had some friends over. I think there was some alcohol involved. I don't know, I might have been 17. Shh. But we were having a little mini party, and the song Wild Horses came on, and there was a knock at the door, and it was my sister Angel, who had left home. And I hadn't seen her, and it had probably been years. And so the combination of not having seen my sisters, and then my sister showing up at the door, and then that song was playing, and I was alcohol-induced, and it was quite a mix, and needless to say, it was a very emotional moment, and I've never forgotten that exact moment. So when I hear that song, it takes me right to that moment. And then let me read you the lyrics to Little Wing, and now you'll know why I put them together. Does everybody know the song Little Wing by any chance? It was one of his less guitar riffed songs, not so crazy. The lyrics are a little off, but it's Jimi Hendrix. So it's a very short song, but it says, well, she's walking through the clouds with a circus mind that's running wild. Butterflies and zebras and moonbeams and fairy tales, that's all she ever thinks about. Riding with the wind. When I'm sad, she comes to me. With 1,000 smiles, she gives to me free. It's all right, she says, it's all right. Take anything you want from me, anything. Fly on, little wing. And so I thought that the two of these, with the memory of my sister showing up at the door that night, and So just enjoy. Thanks. So, next song. So let's fast forward. So what did I end up doing with the violin and piano since I was in high school and I was kind of like, oh, on the violin. I'm going to share something with you, and this is actually good for, I wish there were some students here. I never liked the sound on my violin, myself. I mean, it wasn't my instrument. I just didn't like the sound that I made. And I think that was part of the reasons that I always gravitated towards the piano. Because you hit the piano, I mean, unless the piano's out of tune, the piano's going to sound good, you just hit a note. Violin, you know, if you're off by one hair of a, you know, millimeter, it sounds bad. And so I struggled with that. And I got out of high school and I did what I was, you know, was supposed to do, and that was go to conservatory. I went to Cleveland, Ohio. There's a conservatory there called Baldwin Wallace. And I studied and I did what I was supposed to do, 6 hours a day, every day, for years. Like 3 years I did that straight, and no social life, and that's okay, because I did that in high school, so apparently. And but anyway, and so, but you know, and I practiced and I always felt like something was missing. Always. I never told anybody. I didn't share it with anybody. I didn't try to analyze it. I didn't try to figure it out. I just thought something was missing from my playing or my music that other people either had. It was that spark. It was that connection with my violin. Even though this is an incredible violin, it was just, I was missing something. And so anyway, I continued. I went to conservatory and majored in the violin, still minored in piano, and went on to do other things and still do my violin. And I was, you know, doing weekend stuff and events and weddings and stuff. But it wasn't until I decided that I heard a Led Zeppelin tune. Heard a Led Zeppelin tune, and I said, God, I want to play like that on the violin. I want to play blues and hard and rock and I decided to try my hand at improv. I didn't know how to improv. I didn't even know what to do with improv. Like, I didn't even know, really. I could not do anything off a written piece of music because that's how I was trained. And I'm not saying that's a disadvantage because I think that's great. You should be able to read music. But for me, the disadvantage was that I had long done the Suzuki, but you know, I didn't know how to just play my instrument with just me instead of playing somebody else's music. And so I heard about Mark O'Connor. Mark O'Connor is a famous crossover musician from classical violin to fiddler. And he has a teaching method now. So anyway, I went to some of his camps, and then I went on to study improvisation. It really did take studying, believe it or not. It really did. It didn't come naturally to me. And then I got accepted. I got a scholarship to Colburn School of Music. And this is just within the last 10 years. This isn't like, you know, this is recently in life. And I took jazz studies with all jazz players, and I was the only string player, the only violinist, and I found my niche. And I said, not jazz, but that I didn't need sheet music, and I finally, for the first time in life, liked my own playing. And that's when I felt that connection with my instrument, and, you know, I love interpreting songs that people know and playing them with my spin. So the next song is True Colors, because I feel like this represents my true color is that I feel one with my instrument, and I like sharing it with you. And this was made popular by Cyndi Lauper. And here we go. Does everybody know this one? You'll recognize it. It's pretty. I think it's from like the 80s or 90s, right? my story. So the story is such that once I found myself with my violin where I finally needed to be and wanted to be. Of course, I'm still always growing and still maturing as a musician, but there was another dream of mine, and that was to play with Willie Nelson.
Yes.
So who says I can't play with Daryl Hall? Hello, it's a given. So I had a dream to play with Willie Nelson. Actually, his son, Lucas, is phenomenal. If you don't know that, Willie Nelson's son, Lucas Nelson, will blow your mind. But anyway, and so through Lucas, then I decided, started thinking, gosh, I should really just figure out a way to play with Willie Nelson. And one of my favorite songs is Georgia on My Mind. And now you know that it was made very popular. Well, Ray Charles, it's the piano. But then Willie Nelson covered it, and he brought it to the charts again. And I love that song so much, and I had seen him do it in concert, and I said, I'm going to do a rendition of Georgia. So I did a rendition of Georgia, and I taped it, and magically, it got in the hands of Willie Nelson, and I got a message to come and play with him, and he featured me in a sold-out audience in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and it brings me back to, just makes me think of my mom. Always told me when I was growing up, you can do whatever you want, you can be whoever you want to be, do whatever you want, and you dream big, just do it. And it took me. I'm still on the road, and it's a long road. And I'm growing in life, and I'm older in life, and it's never too late to pursue your dreams. That's why I've got my eye on Daryl Hall. So Georgia, this is my rendition of Georgia, and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you, Willie.
I don't know. I know there are a lot of us who have questions to ask of you. So this is a good thing doing a concert at Hattie's house because the intimacy allows us that opportunity. So if you have a question to ask Jennifer, please do so. But I'm going to start. I know that you love playing with Willie Nelson.
Yes.
Yes. And we will look forward to Daryl Oates. We'll put it out there, and we'll look forward to that. But do you have a humorous time that one concert that you played that something really unusual happened that you'll never forget that concert?
Oh my gosh! Wow. Well, I don't know if it was a concert, but an event. Would you like me to share? Am I on record? I don't know if we can record this. Okay, here goes. It's a little strange. So I got a call to do a romantic evening for two. I thought, no problem, but it'll be at the Biltmore, downtown Los Angeles. Sounds good. I'm always careful. I make sure that I let the concierge know I'm going up to a certain room and how long I'll be there. And when I come down, I let the concierge know that I'm leaving, so no funny business. And but there was one request from the clients was they wanted Disney tunes. And I said like Cinderella and like Thumbelina, I don't know, everything that's in the Disney songbook. So I really went to the library, Disney tunes. I went to the library and I picked out the songbook for Disney and brought it. And when I got there, they were in bed in their pajamas, and there was a chihuahua jumping around and barking, and they had a chair set up for me in the window overlooking downtown LA, and I played Disney tunes. And they cuddled in bed. And they were of age. And that was probably the most unique, sorry it wasn't a concert, but that tops it.
The question is, what were you wearing?
Yeah.
Anybody else have a question?
Hi.
Hi, your violin is very beautiful. Does it have a story?
Yes, it does. Thank you for asking. I hope you guys don't mind if I take a few extra minutes. Yes, the story is another mom story. And so when I was in high school, that I was still using like a student violin. And because I'm in the School for the Arts at this point, people had like better violins. And I'm like, ugh. So my mom was going through the Baltimore Sun, which are the classifieds on Sundays, and she saw an ad. It's like these stories you hear on like Antique Roadshow or whatever. And so she sees an ad for violin in downtown Baltimore, and so she's like, you want to go look at it? I said, okay. My mom had no money. I had no money. I worked at Taco Bell. I really did. I worked at Taco Bell. I was like 16. And so we drove downtown Baltimore. It was like 40 minutes away. And we get there. It was an elderly woman whose husband had just passed. And he had played violin when he was a child or younger. And we went up to the attic, and it was just like a story. It was really a story. We get up there, and the violin is just sitting there, not in a case. It was sitting there with dust. And it had a bow with it, not this bow. I've since changed bows, but it had a bow with it. It was warped. And I'll just tell you the asking price was $500, and that's what the woman asked for. And I remember I gasped because $500. My mom was a single mom, and that was a lot of money for her, but it was cheap for a violin. And so I remember she looked at me and she said, I'll get this for you if you work and pay to have it restored. I said, okay, and I did, and that's what I did. I worked at Taco Bell extra hours till 3 a.m. to, the bells open all night with the polyester pants, and I did that. Really, it was really, anyway, and it cost me $200 by a luthier, and he knew I was a student. And he put it all together, and I've had it ever since, and I will never let it go. It's since been insured. And I won't tell you the value, but thank you for asking. And it's West Germany, 1946. Wow. Yeah. Great question.
What about the bow?
Oh, the bows. I've gotten modern, and I've since have switched to carbon fiber, so you can drop it. I can go indoor, outdoor, not like with this, but not with this, but the bows. Both my bows are carbon fiber, and I am vegan, which means I don't do animal products. So I've since gotten away from horsehair. This is my last horsehair bow, and I've moved on to synthetic bow. And it's in the other room, but I do have a synthetic bow, and it's very white But they're both carbon fiber bows, which means they don't warp, they don't weather, and they're very light. So they're great to play.
How much does a bow cost?
A nice carbon fiber bow, you could be around $400. Oh yeah, no, but you would pay like $10,000 for a really good wood bow.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a bow, it's a bow. You know? It's what you do with it.
What did you say the value on your violin?
I don't discuss it. But that's okay, because I just don't. But it is worth more than $500. And I don't discuss it when I go through customs either. I tried doing that once and it almost got me in trouble in Bahrain. So, yeah.
Any other questions? Would you grace us with one more?
Oh my gosh, you guys want to hear one more?
Yes.
Okay. Give me one more. Thank you. And there is a story to this one, is that every time I play an event, I just got off a cruise ship, playing a cruise ship, by the way. And strolling violin, you would think you can't go wrong. Strolling violin, you play beautiful classical music, you play standards, Italian, every single night. There's that one guy. Sorry, there's always guys. There was the one guy who had too many beers. Too many beers. I said, "Can you play Devil Went Down to Georgia?" And I'm strolling in a long black gown, and I kindly say, "Well, this is the dinner hour, and that's an after-dinner set. But thank you." But they thought that it was unique. They thought that every single time that one guy said it, they thought they were the only person in the world that said, "Will you play Devil Went Down to Georgia?" And they didn't always have that accent. I'm sorry, I'm giving that accent to it. And I would just, I wanted to roll my eyes and just be like, "Dude, seriously?" But but I kept my composure. So really, in reality, you can't on solo violin play Devil Went Down to Georgia, and there's a reason. Because there's drums. There's the drum is keeping the beat. You don't have a beat when you're just playing solo violin. The other thing is there's a bass involved. And the other thing is there's a guy telling a whole story in spoken word. So you're missing a lot of elements. Charlie Daniels really just does that. Okay, so what I've done is I've edited the whole thing just for violin. So here you go. Georgia. So next time somebody asks me, now I'm just going to bust out my edited version and let's just see how I do. Just have fun with it. If I miss a note or two, really, I'm not going to stress over it. But give me 1 second to get prepared because it flies. It flies. I don't want this to fly. Okay. There's a table back there, and I have CDs. The CDs are not cover tunes. The CDs are all original music recorded 3 days in Austin, in the Austin heat, with a world-renowned guitarist named Danny B. Harvey. He's a rockabilly guitarist, also a fingerpicker, and it's all original music, and it's incredible, and it's based on my second home, which is Taiwan. So you'll see that it's in, the cover is in Taiwan. So thank you so much.
Yes.
Well, if you'll have me back, I'll